What is up, you guys? It's episode 32 of the Sci-Fly Zone, and today's destination is going to be taking us back to the DC universe as we are going to be reviewing episode 2 of Peacemaker season 2. And I gotta say, this episode was a great pickup from where the last one left off. What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, the last episode ended off on a high note, on a big cliffhanger. Obviously, we wanted to know what comes up after that, and they pretty much pick up right where they left off. At least Chris does, you know.
Yeah. Although before, actually, it picks up 8 months prior to Rick Flag Sr. as he is promoted to the leader of the Argus organization, appointed by the universe's president. Pretty cool. And his first act as director of Argus is to find out exactly what happened to his son, Rick Flag Jr. And for those who saw Suicide Squad, you obviously know what happened. He went bye-bye.
Yeah. At the hands of Peacemaker, Chris, and pretty iconic last words too, from Rick Flag Jr., like kind of mocking the name Peacemaker while he's the one that like took his life, you know. And this was this scene of Rick Flag Sr., we see him like going through the documents, and it's flashing back and forth between that exact scene and Suicide Squad and his reaction reading the documents, and he just snaps, you know, like understandably he would be upset, like knowing that this is how his son died. And he immediately walks out of his office, goes up to his assistant, Sasha Bordeaux, and demands 24-hour surveillance on Peacemaker. And Sasha tells him that that's not really a rational thing to do right now, because Chris is in good graces with Argus as of the ending of season 1 with what he did with Project Butterfly. So he's seemingly trustworthy by Argus, but Rick Flag Sr., hearing this, does not care. He immediately disregards that. He says, F the Peacemaker, and he turns and walks off, aura farming in slow motion as if he's like an action hero with an explosion going off behind him. And the intro song starts playing.
Yeah, also just the way he delivered the line, fuck the Peacemaker, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck the Peacemaker.
That it came from like deep in his stomach. He really meant that. He snapped. He's not feeling good right now.
No, and I get it, you know, and I was surprised how much the file had in detail as to what actually happened that day. I mean, they even got his son's final words in there, like you previously mentioned, which I think it's crazy. You know, maybe they were able to, you know, read what they were saying through their chips implanted into them for their location, maybe. But I don't know, because when they were actually talking in that scene, their comms were cut at that point. Because remember, Amanda Waller was knocked out because she was gonna kill all of them because she wanted them to come back home, but they were like, nah, we got to fight the starfish. So they went against orders, and she was going to kill them. But then I forgot who exactly it was in Task Force X. I forgot her name, but she hit her in the head and then knocked her out, and then they went about the mission. So, but the comms were out at that point. So, you know, I'm just curious as to how exactly they were able to get that much detail on the event that happened that killed Rick Flag.
Yeah, totally. It's a great question. It was very detailed document. It went very in depth. And I don't know if maybe they got like some like a testimony from like Chris or something, or like somebody else who was like nearby or saw something that happened. But
like maybe Ratcatcher.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, sure. But yeah, I mean, they pretty much had everything that went down in that situation.
Yeah, you know, when I first saw Suicide Squad, I loved Rick Flag as a character. You know, initially when Peacemaker killed him, I hated Peacemaker. And I did not imagine myself liking his character. And honestly, you know, it took me a long time to come around to actually watch his show due to the sole fact that he killed Rick Flag. Like, literally, that was what kept me from watching his show for a while. But when I found out that he was going to be a more integral part in the new DC universe, I was like, okay, you know what? It is important for me to find out exactly as to what's going on with this character, because he's going to be a fairly important part. And that made me actually, you know, come around on him a little bit.
Yeah, totally. It makes sense. I mean, I feel like there were probably a lot of people in a similar position to you when Peacemaker was first announced as a character and that he was going to be a bigger part.
Mhm.
Wasn't really like accepted by everybody. People had their questions, had their concerns. Even though season one was regarded so well and received so well by people, there were a lot of people who were still hesitant to watch it in the first place. You know.
Yeah, although I loved the performance up to the point where he killed Rick Flag, just
Mm,
because
mhm.
I really liked Rick Flag and I was just sad to see him get killed off.
Yeah,
So, but yeah,
yeah,
I did like, there were parts of the character that I did like a lot, like up to that. So I was really happy to see those parts that I like carry over into the show.
yeah, totally. Yeah, I think John Cena's been doing a great job with his character. He's super entertaining.
100%. So after the flashback giving us some context as to why Rick Flag Sr. is so up on Peacemaker's agenda, basically, we cut back to Peacemaker with his variant holding him in his arms, and we were calling his variant Peacekeeper. So whenever we say Peacekeeper, that's his variant. So he's trying to hide Peacekeeper's body inside like a little storage unit in the quantum unfolding chamber, and no matter how he's trying to get him in, he just keeps falling out every single time. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it does not work. He tries to like wrap him up in a tarp and just slide him under like an open space under a desk. Like it does not work. It was never gonna work at all.
No.
And I'm glad this wasn't his final plan for this, because it would probably take all about 2 days for that body to be found.
Yeah, for sure. So eventually he's just like F it and walks off, and he tries to scrub off a lot of the blood that was on him from the exchange. And Peacemaker's killed a lot of people. This isn't his first murder. He's very well initiated. I mean, his phrase is literally, I will kill as many people as I need to in order to keep peace, basically, to paraphrase. And he's crying at just the whole events of everything,
Yeah,
which just shows exactly not only where he's at mentally, but also how much this specific murder is messing with him mentally.
yeah, 100%. This is a super traumatic experience for him, and he mentions it to Vigilante a little later in the episode, where he says something along the lines of like he having to like stare himself in the eyes, you know, and like having to fight himself and like having to kill himself, not having to kill his variant, you know.
Yeah.
And that, like, along with, like you mentioned, he had already been going through a lot with seeing this variant of his dad and Keith in an alternate dimension where seemingly they have a better relationship together. And like it's all just, there's so many different things building up to in Chris's mind right now, and it's all like coming to a head at the same point.
Yeah, and also Peacemaker, like, while his strained relationship with his dad, I would say, is at least 80% his dad's fault. He definitely feels some sort of guilt or fault for as to why their relationship is the way it is, but to kill the version of himself who did manage to have a stable relationship with his dad, that guilt is just eating him alive.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like he got a glimpse of what life could have been in a better world, and
Yeah.
seemingly this was a better world for them, and they seemingly had better relationships just based on the couple scenes that we saw between him interacting with his with Keith and his dad's variants, and now they're not going to be able to have that same relationship because of his actions, and he like that's got to eat him alive as well.
Yes, sir. Definitely. So now we cut to Leota walking into her and her partner's apartment, but her and her partner are not currently in stable terms right now. In episode 1, she hinted at that briefly by her saying that her partner was not answering her calls. So now she's showing up to the apartment because her, Peacemaker, and the rest of the original Task Force X are going to have a little get together, just beer, drinks, fun, that type of thing. So she's going back to the apartment, to grab some makeup, hair stuff, that type of thing, so she can get ready. And then her partner comes home, and her partner is pissed because in her partner's eyes, she's like, yo, we're broken up, like we're done, and you're just showing up unannounced. Like, I don't know what your intentions are here. I don't know what you're grabbing. Like, she's very suspicious of her, but in Leota's eyes, you know, she's just like, yo, I just came by to grab a few things. What the hell?
Yeah, yeah. What the hell? I think that was the exact line that she said in the show. No, but yeah, Leota and Kia are clearly in very different stages of their breakup right now. Leota obviously is just over there real quick, not even thinking that Kia's there. But Kia is pretty freaked out seeing that when she is there,
Yeah.
because in her mind, like, they're broken up at this point. That's what she said. Like, these are the things that people do when they break up. And that kind of throws off Leota a bit, because she was like, I thought we were just taking a break. And Kia was kind of just like, I mean, what's the difference? You know, it's the same thing. I mean, the scene starts off with Leota getting welcomed by the three puppies that we saw in season 1. Really cute, like, good way to start it, but it went sideways very quickly. This was actually ended up being a pretty sad scene. You know, Leota, before leaving, tries to, like, tell Kia she loves her, and Kia doesn't respond back. Yeah, it's not looking good for them, man.
Yeah. So after Leota leaves, we cut to Amelia, and she's at the pharmacy trying to get some meds because if you guys remember last episode, she got in a fight with a lot of big, strong men, and she did not hold back. So therefore, they did not hold back, and she got some big bruises. So she's trying to get some medicine, and a lady in the same aisle as her notices the bruises, and she thinks that Amelia is a domestic abuse victim and tries to give her some advice and resources, which is very kind, very nice to see. But Amelia is giving off some very closed off energy, and the woman, she's obviously a stranger. She doesn't know what's going on with Amelia. She assumes that this is her just trying to brush her off because she doesn't want to actually address what's really going on and wants to stay in the cycle of abuse, which in a very small fragment is kind of true, but she's kind of abusing herself in the sense of the situations that she's getting herself into and allowing herself to receive. But she's not actually in a relationship with someone who is abusing her. And that's what this stranger woman is thinking that she's in. So she keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to get her to receive the help that she's trying to give. And eventually Amelia's like, look, lady, I'm not a fucking mirror. Am I allowed to have my own problems? Is that okay? Like, she just snaps at her.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I mean, very good-natured woman. Obviously, the stranger seems like she had good intentions, but I mean, Amelia was not having any of it. And yeah, I mean, I think that's obviously the lady was wrong about the exact, like, situation she's in. Like you meant, there's not like a partner doing this. It's more so like she's putting herself in situations to get out her aggression in order to, like, not deal with her trauma and what she's really feeling.
Yeah.
But in a way, like, she does need help. You know, she can't, like, keep staying in this cycle of putting herself in harm and danger.
Yeah.
And because, like, the people around her notice too. And a couple times people, like, ask her, Leota asks her, Chris asks her, like, hey, are you okay? Like, what's with the scars? And Amelia just doesn't really want to address it.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, you know, just something stupid. It's fine.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's kind of funny. The NSA interviewer said she showed a lot of signs of toxic masculinity, and the behavior does continue to show up.
It's pretty consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, we're psychologists, by the way.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, licensed. Yep. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Although we are both psychology majors in college, so we know a little bit about psychology. But anyway, nonetheless, we cut to Economos, and we are introduced to Agent Flurry, my favorite character in the show so far, besides Glebe.
Yeah.
Love my boy Glebe.
Yeah. This guy steals the whole episode.
Oh, yeah.
Langston Fleury, played by Tim Meadows from SNL. He did an incredible job with this. James Gunn had apparently gone through hundreds of auditions for this character, couldn't find anybody to play it. One day he just had the idea, maybe Tim Meadows could be great for this role. So he just like straight up asked him one day. He offered the job, the position to him, and he took it. And I'm really glad he did, because it worked out really well. He was great.
Yeah, dude. I don't know like what exactly it is, but like him being paired up with Economos, one, is genius, just because like their personalities are so polarizing.
Yeah.
You know, Economos is very awkward and timid, and Agent Flurry is like very confident and just wants to fuck with him the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, Agent Flurry has so many funny lines. You a hugger, Economos? Hey, we got a cool guy in the band, huh?
Cool guy.
Mind if I call you Ginger Cool?
Oh my god. Dude. Oh my god. He like takes a chicken nugget from Economos when he gets in there. He's like rubbing his shoulders for 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, and when Vigilante shows him, he's like, that guy's caught all the Pokemon.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So good.
Then Economos is
So
like
good.
technically, and Flurry's like, yeah, you know, while you were figuring that out, I had 2 hot girls sucking my, you know.
The way he delivered the line is like, I mean, oh god, you got to go watch the scene. You got to go watch the scene. I
It's
can't
so
do
good.
it justice. He's so good.
Yeah. It's so like there's only a very like certain specific way that like these lines can be like delivered in this context, and it's so good.
Yeah.
You guys need to watch it.
It's so good. I feel like maybe 40% of these lines were written, and then the rest of it was just like completely like on the spot.
Yeah.
Like
No,
he's just
like-
going as he does.
Yeah, me and CJ were literally cackling the whole time. It was so good. Like I could watch this episode like 10 times
Yeah.
just for his performance alone. I could honestly give him a spinoff at this point. I'm down.
Yeah, give
I'm
him,
down.
Yep. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, Langston Fleury. Yeah, 8 episode.
Him and Jimmy Olsen.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be great. They could have some really good interactions with that too, because I mean, like we mentioned, Fleury is like pretty vulgar with what he like, pretty sexual with what he says.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Olsen like gets a lot of attention. He's got Riz. Everybody likes him. But yeah, man. I mean, yeah, that'd be so good.
And the cherry on top for this whole character, the bird blindness bit.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. I love this.
Okay, when he first introduced like that whole concept, I thought he was just completely effing with Economos.
Yeah.
I thought he was just gonna be like, you really thought that was a real thing, dumbass?
Yeah,
but later on the episode, we find out.
Yeah. I thought it was just gonna be like a funny throwaway line that didn't really have much to do with anything, but it actually plays into the plot for the rest of the episode. So good, man.
Yeah, so after we're done with the banter between Economos and Agent Fleury, we cut to Peacemaker, and he's still recovering from not only last night's murder, but also last night's drug usage and orgy.
Yeah,
which
it was
apparently
a long day.
He did actually indulge in, which he hints at and Vigilante kind of hints at, but we don't see it on screen. So, but he was high, so maybe because he doesn't remember it, we as an audience don't either. Maybe that's
that makes sense.
But Peacemaker cannot clean up the body, so he calls Vigilante in, like, hey, can you help clean up? I need help. I don't know what to do. And obviously Vigilante's having a grand old time cleaning up the body. He loves it so much.
He's got this stupid grin on his face the whole time. He's like dancing while he's mopping the blood on the floor.
Yeah, dude, he looked like Star-Lord in Guardians 1 in the intro.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, dude. He was having such a great time. He just likes to bond with his buddy. That's why he was happy. He was when he walked through the house, everybody from all of Chris's friends from the party the night before were all still there. And Vigilante has to like walk past them all, and he's upset that he wasn't invited. And Chris says, you don't even seem like you really like sex. And Vigilante is basically like, I don't like sex for the sex. I like sex because I get to bond with my buddy. and I get to hang out with my friend, which he says a lot of is the case for a lot of people. Chris says no, that's not the case for a lot of people.
No,
No,
that's not why
so
people typically have sex.
but Chris makes up for it by not inviting him to the sex party. He gets to let him clean up a corpse. So all things are good. He had a great
Yeah,
time.
and Vigilante loves it.
He loved it.
Yeah.
So good.
But remember, Peacekeeper, the variant who has died, he's inside the quantum unfolding chamber. And whenever Peacemaker goes inside said quantum unfolding chamber, we get the blip on the radar by Argus, because they think like, oh my god, every time he opens this could potentially lead to the same potential rift that went through Metropolis in the Superman movie could happen again, where the rift could just split everything. Basically, they're worried about that because it's a pocket universe essentially. So they go inside the quantum unfolding chamber to clean up Peacekeeper's corpse, and it blips, like I previously mentioned. And they get a call from Argus being like, hey, you see this? I'm like, yep, we see this.
Yep, looking at it right now.
Like, all right. So we have intel that Peacemaker is going to be going to a party later. So when he leaves for the party, we are going to raid the house. They say scrub it down. We're gonna scrub it down, and yeah. we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what we find, basically, because he's not gonna be there, so we should be chilling. And I guess they forgot he has a pet eagle. They did not send a smart group of fellas in to do this job.
No, they probably needed an exterminator or a zookeeper or somebody with them there. These guys were not cut out for the job at all.
No, like, not only did they make this like Argus Priority 1 in episode 1, for a Priority 1 incident, they sent in a group of guys who do not even know how to handle an eagle. Granted, this is a combat trained eagle, but they should know that, considering how much intel that they have on Peacemaker. And not only that, they sent in the guy who has bird blindness. Yeah. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. He likes to talk. It was in his dossier. He said he told Economos that he's talked about this a lot, and he literally says like, it's his only weakness.
His only
it's
one.
His kryptonite.
And Rick Flag is like, yeah, you're my guy. Yep, we're sending you out there.
Although technically he gave the responsibility of the person to send in for the job to the girl. I forgot who her name was.
Oh, Sasha Bordeaux.
Yeah. He gave Sasha the responsibility center. So this is on Sasha, 100%. What are you doing, girl? So, while they're cleaning up Peacekeeper's body, they're chopping it up. Like we were saying, Vigilante's having a grand old time. And Peacekeeper's phone falls out of his pocket. And Peacemaker keeps it, puts it in his pocket, and we eventually see Glebe again. Love Glebe.
What's up, Glebe? Shout out Glebe.
And Peacekeeper's definitely mean to him. Again, he's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And Vigilante's so curious to who he is. He sees it as another opportunity to make a friend. He's like, who's that guy? And Chris doesn't want to talk about it.
He's just some motherfucker who never says hi to me.
Yeah. It's so good, man.
Yeah, I want more Glebe. We need more Glebe.
Yeah. Let's spin-off show for Glebe.
Yes. A fan actually theorized that Peacekeeper, the variant of Peacemaker, was actually mean to him in the past, was mean to Glebe. So that's why Glebe doesn't even talk to him anymore, because Glebe can't even tell the difference between the two different variants. So whenever he sees him, he's just like, that guy's mean to me. And, they haven't really had any good interactions up to this point. So I kind of get it. But yeah. I just want more lore on Glebe.
I know. I want more.
But yeah, the phone becomes a pretty integral part later on in this episode.
Yeah. So you mentioned phone falling out of Peacemaker's variant's pocket.
Yeah.
While they're cutting him up, and Chris is able to unlock this phone with Face ID because he's got the same face as his variant. That's how variants work most of the time.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Unless you end up in the void, then you can have a bunch of different looking guys.
True. Yeah, that's a good point. So he opens the phone, and he's going through the pictures, and he finds a photo library of him and Emilia in that alternate dimension, like together, basically. I mean, they seemed like they had a really good relationship going on. There were some really nice pictures of them like hanging out, cuddling in bed together. And I think this was just another glimpse of like what Chris saw with the relationship that his variant had with Keith and his dad from the other dimension. It's like a glimpse into what could have been, or what was a possibility in another universe or dimension. And it's just not like compared to his relationship with Emilia in his universe, it's just night and day. It's completely different.
Yeah, it's really jarring to see such a big difference.
Yeah. And I hope we get some more background on Emilia and her relationship in that dimension, and Chris's relationship with her, because apparently later on in the episode, when he goes back through the door, he hears his dad and his brother talking, and someone mentions maybe he's hanging out with that girl Karen, who maybe is someone that he is seeing or romantic with. Maybe we'll get more information about that down the line, but there's definitely some more questions that we have, and there's going to be a lot of explanations in the coming episodes. But yeah, so really jarring, really tough for Chris to see. He's not in a great mood at this point.
Yeah, no, definitely not. So they finish cleaning up, and they throw the rest of the body parts inside the incinerator. And I don't know why they left the eye open on the head throughout everything. That was so
yeah, it was creepy. It was creepy for sure. That was definitely a decision.
It was definitely a decision for sure. But yeah, they all pack up and are getting ready to go to their party on the rooftop. And when they leave, Agent Fleury and the rest of his task force are being debriefed as to what their mission is going inside Peacemaker's house and why they're doing it in the first place.
Yeah, they're all sitting outside in the truck, waiting for Peacemaker to leave to go to the party that they've mentioned a couple times in the episode. And there's one of the guys in the crew who Fleury nicknames Ponyboy, wants to like basically go out immediately as soon as he sees Chris get to his car, and they have a back and forth where Fleury says, no, wait a couple minutes. He might go back because maybe he forgot a housewarming gift. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, so if I go to a party, I'm gonna bring a gift, so I bring a housewarming gift, and a lot of times I forget it, so sometimes I have to go back and get it again. And everyone's like, dude, no, this is not happening. That's not what's going on. You don't bring a housewarming gift to a party unless it's a housewarming party. And he's like, no, any gift that warms up the house is a housewarming gift.
Yeah.
He's very, very stubborn with his opinion. You know, he says bird blindness is his only weakness. He's kind of weak with this too. He doesn't really know what's going on here.
Yeah. His mindset is definitely like, for some reason, the way he thinks is definitely like the best way and the smartest way and the most common way of thinking.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. He sees no other possibility.
No.
So they stake out the house, and Chris leaves to go to the party, and then we cut to Emilia and Economos up on the roof where the party is going to be taking place, and Vigilante shows up, and Emilia asks how he got there. He says, I crawled up the fire escape, and she said, don't crawl up my fire escape.
The heck, dude.
Yeah, and he for some reason thinks this is the funniest thing in the world.
Dude, yeah.
He cracks up so hard. He's like, how do you come up with this stuff? And
yeah, he thinks like she's just fucking with him, like they're on a way cooler level than they actually are. And she's like, dude, don't come up my fire escape.
Yeah, she's like, no,
so
don't do that.
Silly.
Yeah, and apparently he also climbed up with two like 30 racks of Bud Light in either
Dude,
arm.
yeah. Okay, the guy who they casted for Vigilante, I love him.
He's so
great.
good. He's really good. I like him a lot. So, Vigilante, Amelia, and Economos are all up on the roof. Vigilante throws Amelia a beer. She catches it. Vigilante throws Economos a beer. He completely whiffs it.
Love this bit so much.
It breaks against the wall. Vigilante takes another one out, throws it to him again. He fumbles it, drops it on the ground. It breaks again. Amelia's like, hey, go hand him the beer. Maybe stop throwing it if you can't catch it.
Like, Economos has been behind a computer his entire life, dog.
It's so funny, dude. Oh my god. So they're there at the party, waiting for everybody to get there. And we cut back to Flurry and his group. And they are all standing outside the truck. And he's telling them what they're going to be doing. Giving them all very strange nicknames.
I love the nicknames so much, dude.
Seems like he came up on the spot. One guy's name is Mexicali. I mentioned Pony Boy from earlier, but he actually gets demoted a couple times because he doesn't like the nicknames. So Flurry then calls him Barely Legal, which, believe it or not, he doesn't like it either. And so then he calls him Cupidol, and that's what he ends on. So you got Mexicali, Cupidol, Encino Man, and Titties.
Yep.
That's the crew. Those four.
Yep.
And Flurry. And we mentioned earlier, but they are not great with Eagly. They do not handle the bird well at all.
No, it seemed like they honestly completely forgot that Eagly was even there.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. 100%. And like combat trained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And clearly them not factoring that in does not fare well for them whatsoever.
No, absolutely not. As soon as they get to the door for the quantum unfolding chamber, Eagly pops out, goes straight for a headshot, takes down, I think it was Vega Mexicali, and he was going kind of wild in this.
Bro, he was clearing the whole lobby.
He was he got a chain kill. He went for he sliced someone's neck. He took someone's eye out of their socket. Like,
he was doing some combos.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a Street Fighter character, and nobody could do anything to him.
Dude, and then his walk of just pride at the end, so awesome.
Yeah, he aura farmed at the end.
Yeah.
So good. And Flurry is trying to do what he can, but obviously he can't do anything because, like he says, he can't tell how big the bird is because he has bird blindness.
Can't see how big this thing is. It's so good, dude. I love that they stuck to the bit.
I love it. I love that they brought it back. It's so funny.
But again, it just calls into the question as to like how smart Argus is as an organization to where they can have 24/7 watch on Peacemaker, but send in not only send in a guy as backup to Economos, who does not have the ability to tell one bird from another, but also a whole team of people who do not factor in that Eagly, who is a combat trained eagle, is present and will defend the property at all costs.
Yeah. Yeah, they were not prepared for this, for it to be their top priority at all.
You hear how my voice is from how I'm saying it?
That's crazy. How you know. That's how you know he's getting emotional.
It's messed up. Yeah.
So after Eagly does his thing and clears out the lobby, as you say, we cut back to the party of the 11th Street kids on the rooftop, and everybody's having a pretty good time. Yeah. You know, everybody's enjoying themselves. Leota is very drunk.
Yeah. At the start of the party, you know, I definitely loved their friendship dynamic. You know, they definitely have a really good bond going there when no one really wants to dive into their personal issues.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they're all just there to like party and have a good time and see each other, and you know, they're excited to see each other, which is really nice. It was great. Yeah. But Chris and Amelia get into a pretty deep conversation. They start talking about some serious stuff.
And this is also definitely because Chris knows in an alternate universe that they had a legitimate relationship.
Right.
So now he really wants to like be a lot more curious if that's possible in this reality. And he already cares for her a lot, you know, not only in the previous season of Peacemaker, he showed a fair amount of attraction towards her, not just on a physical level, but on an emotional level, but also on this season as well. Chris sees that, you know, in the alternate universe, they had a chance. So he really wants to just see if that's possible now.
Yeah, totally. I mean, after going through the phone of his variant and seeing the relationship that he had with Amelia in the other dimension, yeah, it's gonna like sort of like give him a little more motivation to maybe try or like push a little bit more to see what he can make happen, you know. But it seems like Chris and Amelia are not really in the position to have a serious conversation like this right now.
Yeah, not the time nor the place.
Yeah, not really. Yeah. Chris asks Amelia about the scar above her eye, and she says it was from a bar fight. He asked if it was the same bar from a few months ago where they might have met the first time, which I believe is a callback to episode 1 of season 1, where Amelia got in the bar fight with only one guy, not the entire bar. But so he's asking if she's like going around just looking to get into fights to get her anger out, basically. And she kind of pushes back at him. She basically says, well, you put on a costume just so you can go beat the shit out of people, basically. So
instead of actually talking about what the subject matter was, she flips it on him and just points out things that she finds objectively wrong with him to try and gloss over the fact that like there is actually something truthful to what he's saying.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she's in a very vulnerable position, and she kind of feels like she's getting attacked, so her response is basically to attack back, basically, and try to make him feel the same way that she does, which you can't really have a productive conversation like that. There's no way for them to really get anything done here, you know. But I mean, they're both sort of dealing with similar things, you know. They both have like a past with like violent people. They have the trauma that they're going through, you know, and they both are kind of dealing with it in similar ways. Amelia is like pushing away her feelings, trying to get her aggression out by getting into fights and using pain and aggression to get out her emotions. And Chris is basically drowning his sorrows in sex and drugs and not really addressing his own problems. So they're both, I mean, sort of in similar positions, but it's another conversation that ends poorly. Doesn't go very well for the two of them. They're having a pretty tough time right now.
Yeah, and also Amelia was probably thinking about that fight the whole day going into the party, and that lady already like pushed really hard about it and triggered her about it. So I'm sure going into that event, she wasn't planning on talking about it at all. And especially from someone who she's already turned down romantically to a degree, you know, and that's typically something I feel she would only talk about with someone who she feels very close with, and that's basically nobody for her at this point. So it's just Chris is not the person for her to be talking about this, but he wants to be.
Totally, yeah. And like you mentioned earlier, none of these people really came to this party to have serious conversations, except for like seemingly Chris. They're all kind of there to just party, not really think about their emotions. So it's not the time or place for that conversation, you know?
Yeah. But, you know, in Chris's mind, you know, he's got a lot going on. He's got a lot of feelings that he wants to figure out, that he's curious about, because he's a very emotional person. But like I mentioned last episode, Amelia is a very avoidant attachment style person. So she is going to want to avoid, while Chris is going to want to attach towards it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So that clash further shows in them really not getting along for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And it sucks because it seems like everyone else is having a jolly old time getting drunk and reminiscing and, you know, talking about the future. I mean, even Vigilante ends up in his underwear getting beer poured on him. You know, he's having a jolly old time.
Yeah, he's having a blast, as he is basically the whole episode.
Yeah.
Just happy to be there, having a good time. All of that is happening in the background while Amelia and Chris are having another fight, basically. It's very night and day between what's going on at the party.
Yeah, but it's also a pretty realistic situation. I mean, we've all been there, you know, where we're at a party and then, you know, one friend and his girlfriend are fighting off in the corner, and then, you know, you can tell they're just fussy the whole night. And and everyone else is just trying to have a good time still. It's hard to have both of those things going on at the same time.
Yeah. I think that's one thing I like about the show and these interactions, though, because it does feel like these are like pretty real friendships, you know?
Yeah, it's very human interactions for
sure.
sure.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's been a while since they've all hung out together. They're all feeling a little bit weird about it, but happy to see each other still, like, you know, wanting to have a good time, but like unsure of how it's going to go. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so props to James Gunn for, again, you know, really having a good grasp on like all of the different aspects of the human experience and accurately portraying them in an authentic way on the screen.
Yeah, totally. And speaking of James Gunn, I was actually listening to a podcast earlier that James Gunn does with the HBO Max YouTube channel. He and a couple other people from Peacemaker were like talking about each episode. And the guy who played Economos had mentioned that this scene that they shot was actually on the first day of shooting for Peacemaker season 2. So in a way, it kind of was like a reunion for them, like as characters and also as people. So
yeah, a really good way to break the ice for sure.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But not everybody has a good time at this party, as we mentioned. It does not go well for everybody. Another bad conversation for Chris that doesn't end well, puts him in a very bad mood. And he leaves the party. He stumbles into his house.
I don't know how he got home.
Yeah, I don't know how he got home either.
He just ended up at home. We cut to him at home, stumbling through the door. Not even through the door. He's in the kitchen.
Yeah, he's wasted off of 5.5 Bud Lights, and he goes into his room. He goes into his room, and he sees the phone that he picked up from his variant's pocket that fell out of his pocket while they were doing their thing earlier, disposing of the body.
Yeah.
And he opens it with his Face ID, and he goes to his contacts this time. And he scrolls through the contacts and he finds Emilia Harcourt. And he does what everybody does in smart situations when they think about what they're doing. He drunkenly texts his ex.
But not his ex.
Yeah,
his variant's ex.
His variant, an interdimensional ex of his. Yeah. So we've all been there. Come on. Although, what I liked about this part is that the text doesn't go through because there's no signal, because the phone is in the wrong dimension and it's not connected to the internet of its own dimension, so it doesn't work. So Chris basically says,
I'll do it myself.
And he stumbles up to the QUC, the quantum unfolding chamber, and he stumbles over to that door that he found when he walked into when he found his brother Keith and his dad the first time. And he stumbles inside and he hears his dad and his brother talking and asking each other about where he could be. Seems like they're trying to find him. They haven't seen him for a full day at least, because in episode 1 we know that version of Peacekeeper went through the door and then he went up into the spike.
That guy in the red suit just turned that other guy into a fucking kebab. And yeah, technically this is a murder.
And then he came down and he's gone. I don't know what is going to happen, dude. But they're looking for him. He can hear them. Seems like the consequences of his actions are starting to really sink in. Speaking of consequences of his actions, now that he is in the right dimension of the phone, his text goes through to Amelia and she texts him back. His phone rings. He said, hey. She says, hey back. And then you get those 3 little dots that come up and then they disappear, that everybody loves to see. And then she sends him a broken heart emoji.
Yep.
And that is where the episode ends.
Yeah, seemingly, Chris is not only assuming his other universe's self, he now has a woman who seemingly wants his attention.
Yeah.
For the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
And he is going to eat that up. You know?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I don't know what the context is of this. I don't really know what I mean, it seemed like they had a great relationship in that dimension previously, but as they mentioned in episode 1, Amelia in that dimension is now seeing somebody else, a Marine. And so, like, Chris is walking on thin ice. He's getting himself into some trouble for sure.
Yeah.
And we've seen that he's faced some of the consequences of his actions before, and that can only imagine there's going to be more consequences for what he's doing and interfering with what he is. He's not going to be able to get away with it forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also, it seems like he has all the more reason to just ditch his universe entirely, if I'm being honest. Yeah. What does he have left going for him? What does he have left going for him in his universe right now? I mean, he's seemingly wanted by Argus. He's waiting for, or he's wanted by Argus because Argus is waiting for him to just make any one mistake for them to just go in and arrest him. And him going into the quantum unfolding chamber was already seemingly enough in the first place. And he doesn't even know this yet, but Eagly killed he didn't kill them, but he heavily injured 4 or 5 agents of Argus. So they're going to want to charge him on that alone.
Yeah.
So, and not only that, Amelia in his universe doesn't F with him. The only friend he really has is Leota, and now he can just go into this universe where he has a brother that loves him, a dad that loves him, and a woman who's willing to give him another chance. Why would you not go back?
Yeah. Yeah. It's true, man. It's a really tough situation for him right now, dude. He's there was during a previous scene between Leota and Kia at Kia's apartment when they were talking, Kia has a line where she says, or Leota says that she's trying to follow her dreams, which is why she's staying in Gotham, or staying in where they are, where the show's taking place, and not going to Gotham with Kia. And Kia says, you can't follow your dreams if they're leeching off of somebody else's reality, you know? And it seems like that's exactly what Chris is kind of like wrestling with and juggling with. What is he going to do? Is he going to try to go live in that alternate Chris's reality at the expense of that Chris's life, and like at the expense of the people in his own reality? It's a very dangerous spot for him to be in right now.
Yeah, and also Chris has expensed the other Chris's life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's already done for. So at some point, they're going to find out one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, man. And we're only 2 episodes into the season. I'm not exactly sure how many episodes it is. Do you know?
I think it's going to be 8 episodes. There was a quote from from James Gunn saying something about cameos in episode.
Oh yeah,
like 6, 7, and 8. I think
some big cameos coming up.
Yeah, some big cameos. So I think that's probably going to end with those, probably like at episode 8, I'm assuming, and then that's going to like transition into what comes next. I'm imagining maybe we get a Supergirl cameo to set up her movie.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm also thinking it's going to be something to set up Batman.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. They keep mentioning Gotham. They gotta follow through with the setup at some point.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
I want Langston Fleury saying his lines in Batman's voice.
That'd be so funny. Yeah, it'd be cool if, I mean, I highly doubt this would happen, but this is just like, you know, a nerd dream theory. But, you know, if they do more multiverse stuff, and if they do like a quote unquote Endgame type of movie in the DCU with multiversal variants and such, it'd be cool to see Christian Bale's Batman come back for a cameo.
That would be really cool, actually. Yeah, that would be sick.
Although it would kind of, I feel like some people would feel like that would break the ending of The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
because it seems that Bruce is living off in a good life now with
yeah,
Catwoman.
yeah. I get that. Yeah,
but
yeah,
Batman. What do you want
Yeah.
from me? I want Batman.
yeah, I want Batman. Yeah,
I want that man and the Batman. But yeah, that is gonna do it for our episode 2 review. We'll be covering the rest of the episodes for Peacemaker and anything else DC related, Marvel related. And we also cover baseball stuff too, if you guys haven't found that out yet. We cover a lot of Major League Baseball stuff, and the end of the season's coming up, so we'll be covering a lot of the postseason predictions and that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you guys enjoy that, then please tune in for those episodes as well. But yeah, this has been the Sci-Fly Zone, where the multiverse meets the 7th inning stretch. Hope to see you guys on the next one. Drop a like, drop a comment, hit that sub button. And if you have any topics that you want us to talk about, leave them down in the comments and we'll be happy to talk about it. Peace.